Hey guys, thogden here, and this is an iconic video because we're back at the old setup. Do you remember it? For game week 28 predictions. It's crunch time. We're basically deciding who wins the Premier League from this weekend, the Liverpool City game, but don't forget about Arsenal Brentford as well. And my predictions this week, I think, are the highest scoring matches I've ever done. It's going to be goals galore. Are you ready?
I'm always ready, Theo. Happy International Women's Day, March the 8th, Theo. And the guest last week, George Benson, 8 points, 11 points.
And if I thought about it cleverly, I probably should have got a woman on because of that day as a guest, but we got the cat instead, Casper Lee.
Hey, it's Casper here. My score predictions are as follows.
And the first game is Manchester United against Everton, 6th against 16th. It's a tasty Lancashire derby, Theo, between two teams who lost last week. Now, United, we know, they got sunk, didn't they, in the Manchester derby?
They did. It wasn't even a competition. I don't even get fired up for Manchester derbies anymore. It's one team that are going for the title and another that to get any European spot they can. But then there's Everton, who haven't won in 10. They're looking bleak. Sean Dyche, as much as he's getting points back, things aren't performing on the field. But for Manchester United, that one goal from Rashford, let's give him the credit he deserves. To score on that calibre in a Manchester derby, it's pretty special.
It was superb, Theo, but Everton, it was heartbreak against West Ham United, Theo. 2 goals in injury time.
But Beto was the, I would say, saviour, but he scored after he missed a penalty. He's the only person scoring anything for Everton right now. I don't know how the fans are still travelling away to matches because it's bleak.
It is bleak, but you know what? Manchester United 2, Everton 1. I think it's going to be a close game.
They're 11 points adrift of the top 4 race, Manchester United. They need to get something. Manchester United 3, Everton 1.
Man U versus Everton. It's going to be a Man U victory at home. We're going to go with 2-1, keeping it close, but I'm very excited to see that game.
Crystal Palace against Luton, 14th against 18th. Two teams, Theo, in what I call the relegation zone, and two teams who lost last weekend.
Crystal Palace, you put them in the relegation battle.
Just, Theo. I think without a win or two, they are not safe yet.
Well, it's Oliver Glasner's job to make sure that they're not even near that come the end of the season. And so far, I'd say so good. At one point, they were going to beat Spurs 2, 1-0 up, and then that 11 minutes of mayhem where they went and conceded 3 goals. But let's go back to a game before that. The home record that Oliver needs to bring in, it needs to be unbeaten. Last time out, they beat Burnley. Now they've got to put a statement and win Luton at home. It's a good run of games for him, isn't it?
Now, that Spurs game, first of all, what a goal from Eze. Great free kick, but that was the only shot on target, Theo. That's not good enough. Luton, Theo, it is a crunch week for them, isn't it, Theo?
Yes.
They've got 2 games. They're in 18th place. Can they win one of those?
Well, Dad, they did get a 2-1 win in the reverse fixture at Kenilworth Road. And if they can continue that, doing the double would be a statement. They need it more than ever because their last 5 matches, they've lost every single one.
This is going to be close. I think Crystal Palace will nick it. 2-1.
Well, Dad, I said at the start I'm going to predict a lot of goals. I'm sticking with that. Crystal Palace 2, Luton 2. High-scoring draw. I get that extra point because of the 4 points. Casper Lee, what do you reckon?
Crystal Palace versus Luton. Luton are going to pull the W, 1-0.
Bournemouth against Sheffield United, 13th against 20th. Oh my goodness, wait a minute, Theo. There's somebody there not like this video yet.
Oh my God. Why are we talking about yours?
They have now.
Oh,
so we can carry on now. So this game is South Coast, Theo, against Yorkshire, and Bournemouth got an important win, didn't they, against Burnley? Massive for them.
Andoni Iraola called it a bad performance, but a win, which is quite funny because coming into that game, Burnley needed anything that they could take, and it ended a 7-match winless run. 11 points clear of the relegation zone, and with 2 very winnable matches, it's 6 points that will basically throw them back into the mid-table stretch. They've only won 1 head-to-head over the Blades in all competitions, but they've never faced them at a better time after they got battered 6-0 by Arsenal, whacked in the face. Sheffield United probably could get relegated by Bournemouth.
Like I said last week, shame on Sheffield United because they're getting spanked week in, week out.
Chris Wilder, I don't even blame him. He brought on 3 youngsters at half-time and they conceded less against Arsenal, one of the best teams in the world. And he basically said in the post-match interview, the kids listen to me. The seniors don't. He subbed off the captain at half-time. Unbelievable.
What is unacceptable is when players look as if they don't care.
And actually, the Cherries need a result at home. They've gone back-to-back matches without a win there, and they need a big performance. I think they'll get it. Dominic Solanke and Semenyo, both on good form right now. 3-0 win.
Bournemouth, interestingly, are a team who are better away than at home, but they're going to win this one 2-0.
Yeah, a goal difference of -50. Honestly, Thogdad in goal could have done a better job for Sheffield United.
Cheeky. Over to you, Casper.
Bournemouth, Sheffield United. You know, it's going to be a 0-0. Why not? I'm just going with my gut.
Wolverhampton Wanderers against Fulham is 10th against 12th. It's a mid-table clash between two teams who were involved in 3-0 games last week. You're trying to make it more exciting.
I'm trying to make this game interesting. I'm sorry. The only thing coming out of this game which I think, I'm going to watch out for this man, is Rodrigo Muniz.
Yes.
He's almost ready to enter my FPL team.
Yeah.
He is on fire. Last week we sat down on Prem Predictions. I'm going to be dead honest. I forgot his name. And we were talking about the Brazilian duo, Willian, and who was that name? Well, I don't forget his name anymore because he's scoring every week. I think he's got 6 contributions in the last 5 Premier League games. He's Fulham's light in a time of darkness. And the last 2 games, guess what they've done? Beat Man United away and Brighton at home 3-0.
Now, Wolves last week, they got spanked 3-0 at St James's Park, but they had more passes, they had more possession, so scoring a goal was the problem.
What wouldn't surprise me if the Cottagers turn up away from the Cottage and win. But for Wolves, it's just difficult to predict. Gary O'Neill, he keeps games low scoring, even though they're averaging their highest ever scoring matches in the Premier League, 1.5 goals scored per game. They've actually never lost to Fulham in a Premier League match at home ever. I don't think it will come here. I'm sitting on the fence and want a 1-1 draw.
I think this is going to be low scoring. It's going to be a typical 1-0 to the Wolves.
Wolves versus Fulham. You know what? Unfortunately, Fulham, you have no chance. Wolves 3-1.
Arsenal against Brentford is 3rd against 15th. It's North London against West London. Now, Arsenal absolutely destroyed Sheffield United, didn't they, at the weekend? But Brentford, that's a different proposition.
Yeah, Brentford will come fired up. Ivan Toney, we know the history of him potentially going to Arsenal. Will he want to score? Will he want to stop the story? Because I think this match is arguably as big as Liverpool City. Ooh. Because I don't know what thogdad's going to predict in the Liverpool City game. Watch till the end. But my mind tells me he'll sit on the fence. Because it's typical thogdad. Which means if Arsenal win, they go top of the league, all on the same games, in pole position to win the Premier League.
But the thing recently, they've won the last 7, Theo, and they're only 3rd in this league. It's a fantastic season. Brentford, though, they're playing some good football at times. It's always exciting to watch. But they concede stupid goals, don't they?
And now they're only 6 points above the bottom 3.
Yes.
We're talking about Brentford here, Dan.
I know.
They've just dropped off, and it's all because they've got 1 win in the last 7 league outings. It's simply embarrassing. Do you know what isn't embarrassing? And you talked about what Arteta said in that Porto game. He kept them there in Portugal until the next day. He made them train in Portugal before they fly back. It was all focused on battering the team and letting them know, you're never going to do that again. Kai Havertz.
Yes.
Who thought in the last 3 games of any matches ever, he would have 5 goal contributions?
Well,
I think it's 3 assists, 2 goals. It's amazing to see.
The headline said 60 million down the drain, and Kai Havertz, he scored again.
5 and 3.
He's going to score again here.
He will.
I'll put it out there. This is going to be 3-1 to Arsenal.
I disagree. I think it will be Ivan Toney to score, but Brentford will only get 1. Arsenal, at home, will score 4.
Wow.
Arsenal are going to continue to win as much as I would like them not to. It's going to be a 2-1 victory for them.
Aston Villa against Tottenham Hotspur is 4th against 5th. This is the battle for 4th place and a Champions League spot, isn't it? And a huge game. Biggest game of the weekend. Probably not, though.
It is in some regards, Dad. This is the top 4 battle. Unai Emery and Ange battling it out. And I feel a lot of the pressure is for the home team.
Yes.
Because they don't want to see that gap come nearer.
Yeah.
And Spurs will be firing. It was 3 goals in 11 minutes to turn around what was a loss at Crystal Palace at home, which is just unacceptable. Ange finds a way, doesn't he?
Timo Werner, absolutely fantastic. But Ollie Watkins, let's talk about him, Theo, because he was the difference, wasn't he?
He was.
Against Luton. Those 2 first-half goals. And by the way, that was a game of 2 halves. The first half, Villa could have scored 4 or 5. The second half, they let Luton come back.
But he couldn't be the difference in their 0-0 draw to Ajax away on Thursday night. Will they be fit and ready for the home match against Spurs? I'm going to go against the grain here and say a big away win. Aston Villa 1, Spurs 2.
That would be an enormous result. I've got a question for you, Theo.
Go on.
Spurs, how many away defeats have they had this season?
I think only 2, which is pretty respectable.
Because of that, I think this is going to be an absolute cracker. Villa 2, Spurs 2.
Ooh.
But Casper Lee, what do you reckon, pal?
Casper Lee.
As a Tottenham fan, I hope we can pull this one off. Obviously, we're going to let it a goal, so I think it's going to be 3-1 to Tottenham.
West Ham United against Burnley is 7th against 19th. It's a team who might be playing Porto next season against a team that's probably going to play Portsmouth. That's good though, isn't it?
That was pretty good.
That was
Does
pretty
it deserve
good,
a like? You probably already hit the like.
Yeah, come on.
The Hammers have been on the road. Freiburg away, Thursday night, and they lost 1-0. Did they deserve a penalty? You guys in the comments can tell me. David Moyes was fuming. Actually, their record against Burnley is really good. They're unbeaten in 5 head-to-heads. The last one, pretty dramatic. The reverse fixture, Burnley were actually winning 1-0 to the 85th minute, and then they scored 2 goals. Absolute scenes. I think Souček got the winner. I remember that game like it was yesterday. I'm sure James Trafford did too, unfortunately for him. And I really hope that Burnley can show some revenge, some fight, because it's now or never, isn't it, Dad? How are you still on the same points as Sheffield United? It's embarrassing. The only way you really survive at this point is if Nottingham Forest get a points deduction. So Burnley need to win if they want to stay up.
West Ham fought really hard against a good Everton team, Theo. I like the fact Zuma got his goal, didn't celebrate against his old team. So West Ham have now won the last 2. But Burnley against Bournemouth, 75% possession, just couldn't score a goal.
I don't think it'll be many this time because West Ham will be a bit more tired. But Jared Bowen's on fire. They'll find a way. And I think they're going to win 1-0 West Ham.
I kind of agree with that, but I think they'll score 2. West Ham 2, Burnley 0.
Let's hope for Trafford Muscats. We love him. But another good goalkeeper is Kasper Lee. What's his prediction?
West Ham versus Burnley. You know, West Ham, I'm feeling you. I'm feeling you're at home. You're going to get this 2-0.
Brighton and Hove Albion against Nottingham Forest is 9th against 17th. But Brighton, Theo, they keep losing, don't they? What about yesterday in Europe?
Embarrassing. De Zerbi should play the kids. I know you're playing against Romelu Lukaku, Paulo Dybala, Spinazzola. It's this different gravy. You know, when you sign players of that calibre, and they turn up at home in a difficult place to go, Stadio Olimpico. It's done. I think Brighton need to put their mind back to the Premier League now.
Yes, they need to start winning if they want to get back into Europe, but they're playing a Nottingham Forest team who put up a real fight against Liverpool.
They are.
So unlucky to lose
Can I just say, Nuno, is he the most unluckiest manager in the Premier League? The last 2 matches, back-to-back at home, United, Liverpool, conceding in the last minute in both.
Yes.
And they put in valiant efforts, created chances, looked very vulnerable on the attack. They just didn't compromise with that 1 goal, and they were so unlucky not to do it. I do think Nottingham Forest will come here, but will they come away with any points? Because Brighton will also need a response.
This has got banana skin written all over it, and if I was braver, I would go for a Nottingham Forest win here, but I'm not brave. At some point, Brighton will win. They've got good players in that team.
Lewis Dunk needs to put away those nightmares from Stadio Olimpico. I'm not going to get into details of that, and get back to the good old days, Premier League, winning ways. I think they will. Brighton 2, Nottingham Forest 0.
And I'm going to say Brighton 2, Forest 1. But Kasper, what do you reckon, pal?
Brighton, Nottingham Forest. I think this is going to be a 2-2 game. Why not? You just got to go crazy with these predictions.
Liverpool against Manchester City is first against second. It's the biggest game of the year. It's the biggest game in Europe. It's the biggest game in the world.
No. Before we say anything in this game, Arsenal-Brentford matters, and we've both predicted that Arsenal win. Meaning, if this game's a draw, Arsenal go top with the best goal difference, pole position. First, let's talk about Liverpool. Anfield has been rocking. They've had 1 less home game than Manchester City, and they are still on more points. They've won everything, not lost a single game, and drawn 2.
Well, Liverpool played last night against a pub team called Sparta Prague. They were terrible.
It was like a training session, Dan.
Yes.
Darwin Nunez with 2, Luis Diaz with 1, Dominic Szoboszlai comes off the bench, gets a goal, even Mo Salah on the bench. That's a massive hint towards FPL if you think about signing him. It's such a big day. It's like they've got their whole squad back.
We know how amazing City are, but then we could say the same thing about Arsenal and about Liverpool. 3 brilliant teams this season.
Yeah.
But watching City against United and watching one player in particular called Phil Foden, I thought he was magnificent. I think you watch that 90 minutes and you say, this is one of the best players in the world. Haaland, KDB, Foden and Rodri. Those are the 4 who are astonishing. So
and they're all fit and ready.
They're all fit, they're all ready. And for that reason, I don't think Liverpool will win this.
Okay.
And I don't often say that when Liverpool play Anfield.
What's your score?
A 1-1 draw.
I'm going to go for a winner.
Ooh.
And my reasoning before I say the prediction, it's home form. It's Anfield, Dad. They'll find a way. I'm saying Liverpool 2, Manchester City 1. I think it's a hiccup for Pep.
Liverpool, Man City, what a game. This is going to be pretty insane. I think it's going to be 3-2 to Man City. It's going to be huge.
Chelsea against Newcastle United, 11th against 8th. It's the battle of the billionaires. It's a mid-table clash that shouldn't be a mid-table clash.
Billions in the bank, but you're 8th and 11th. Crazy. For the Blues, it's not been great, has it? I mean, conceding 4 goals to Brentford and Leeds at home as well. That's embarrassing. You scored 5 in those games. Pochettino needs a result.
Well, all I can remember, Theo, is the last time Newcastle came to London, they got battered by Arsenal. Now, I know Arsenal are a better team than Chelsea. Newcastle don't travel that well at times, do they?
Will it be Mudryk? Will it be Nico Jackson? They're available, they're ready to go. For me, it's Cole Palmer. I think he's going to get a goal in this game. This is going to be both teams to score, high scoring. I said it'd be a high scoring week, 2-2 draw. I nearly said Chelsea to win.
I don't know why I'm doing this, but I think Chelsea will just win 2-1.
No, I nearly predicted that. Good prediction, Casper.
Chelsea versus Newcastle. I think Newcastle are going to pull the win at 3-2.
Right, Theo, I'm going down the pub now. Right,
What?
see ya. That's all the
No,
games.
there's a double game week, Dad. Bournemouth Luton, it's the biggest game of the week. It's the one that we're all tuning into.
Do you know what?
Wednesday night, I'm not talking about the Champions League. I've got my mind on this.
This is a massive game because Luton, 2 games this week.
Yes.
They can catch up to Nottingham Forest, can't they?
Bournemouth can get even further away from the relegation zone, depending on how the first result goes. Dominic Solanke, triple captain, shouting FPL. Will he be cooking? We will see. As I said, Champions League can go in the bin. My score prediction, Bournemouth 2, Luton 1.
And I also think that Bournemouth are going to win twice this week. This one is going to be 2-1.
And then finally for Bournemouth and Luton, we're going to go with 3-2 Bournemouth.
Oh, what a legend he is. The
Brilliant.
South African goalie.
Love the
we
guy.
love him. All the best to you, mate. You are a YouTube hero of the game. We've known you for so long. He actually once saved the channel as well. So go subscribe to him. Like this video. Thogdad reminded you earlier. Big up Farnham Town. Up the Bolton this weekend. Go on.
Can I do the thing where you go like that?
Yeah, you close it.
All right, see ya.
What a mug. You did the wrong one.
All right.
Oh, he's found the camera.